This is Jim Gillis. It was great talking with you, and again, thanks for letting me get a lot of that stuff off my chest. So I work from home and do a lot of stuff where I'm just online all day. So yeah, talking to a live person, sometimes I can forget my social graces. Anyway, so here's the ballot, and the way that it works is that this is, the home page. So voters can sign up for free, groups and organizations for free, parties for free, although we really haven't developed the party page like we should have. They're really just group pages right now. And then the candidates, they can have a free profile, very much like an online dating or LinkedIn, and then, to go onto a ballot and start campaigning and stuff, it's $100. But they can, sign up right there. It's real simple. I'm already logged in, so my zip code 94116 is a San Francisco, California zip code, and this is my most recent or upcoming ballot. But here are all of my ballots here, and for this demo I'll just use the most recent presidential ballot. So here's my ballot, and I would be I can scroll down it to the Senate races and then congressional districts and state Senate, state assembly districts, down into the county level races, and then even the city level races, board of supervisors. So when I sign up, I put my zip code in here, and then these are the districts, and you can see here that this is a direct hit on 11 and it's a direct hit on 19. This I have to choose my district, and we do that just so that you can just put in a zip code, right? So you don't have to put in your actual home address, right? People don't feel comfortable with that. They would much rather just put in like a zip code, so it keeps their identity private and that type of thing. And then we have stuff moving forward where you can use a 9-digit zip code that will auto-populate all the districts, even down to an either or on the districts here, where we can say, oh, you're either in 6 or 7 or maybe 3, like you're in the middle of all 3 or something. But for example, this congressional district, this is a 12 or 14. So I happen to know mine's 12, and if I don't, I can go over here and then I can go to the house and I can type in my address, or I can just look at a map and see where I live and see which one I'm actually in. So my zip code is in both of these districts. But then with that, I just hit save, and again I can choose my school district. Again, San Francisco, that zip code's a direct hit. Some people are in between school districts, but school districts are pretty close. They're almost always really close, and people, if they don't know, again they can go to great schools and they can find out what district they're in. So then you hit save, and when you go to your ballots here, then you'll see, and I think I changed my district to 7, right? Or I think I kept it back at 7, yeah. And again, I know this is going to be a long video if I do this, but just to give you an idea, if I changed it to District 3, then I would go down here and I would see, only the District 3 race, right? And everything else would be the same. So here I am at school board, and here are all the candidates for school board, and I've heard of Rachel Norton. She was the darling of the Democrats, spent a lot of money, had a lot of big endorsements, and same with Matt Haney. Matt Haney had Van Jones come and talk about how great he is and make it endorsements and that type of thing. And so let's say I listen to that, and then I click on Ian here, and Ian didn't have any fanfare, and I didn't know who he was until I saw Win My Vote, and I can click on his profile and I can watch a video.
We live across the street from an elementary school, but the district's assignment process doesn't care. Even though our schools are more segregated today than decades ago, many families have to drive across town every day to get to the best school they could get into, making traffic worse and impacting our jobs. We need to restore San Francisco neighborhoods.
And then I can also click and watch, other ones that he's made.
I have a question. Did you know that we have a teacher shortage in San Francisco?
We need more great teachers. Let's strive for excellence.
And with that, I can say, hey, this is, my guy. I can favorite him here, or I can go back to my ballot and I can favorite him here. And when I do that, you'll see he moves to the front of the line, his nameplate turns green, so I can access it with my cell phone or tablet real easily. I can also see a percentage here, and this is the percentage of favorites that he has here on Win My Vote. So I know that these are people in San Francisco school district, they're looking at this, and I can share his profile on social media, or I can make a comment on the race, or I can do a variety of other things around kind of getting involved a little bit with the candidate. Now, so the way that I'm thinking on Win My Vote is that I want to get all the people that only have 5 minutes, right? Give them a resource where they can at least make a semi-informed decision, all the way up to being able to click on a candidate and, for example, going over here to featured endorsements, or adding another feature over here, or something that has scores on this candidate, or a deeper dive. And this is where I have talked and I will talk to other groups and organizations and companies and information aggregates and stuff to say, hey, if you guys have background on this guy or other types of issues, if someone wants to go on a deeper dive on this candidate, they should be able to. Maybe we partner with CrowdPack or one of these other people to see where the money's coming from, or Open Secret, or whatever it may be, to sort of give the voter some options here about drilling down and going deeper. But you definitely want it to be both. The casual user that may not even drill down, that may just see Mark Sanchez and say, hey, I always vote for Latinos, and he's my guy, right? And that's it. At least, again, they're seeing more than they would on the news. The other part that the other feature that we have is the propositions and the measures, and these are real, right? I mean, this is how many we had, and then we had all of these measures in San Francisco, so they were it was crazy. But for example, I can click on this proposition. We partnered with a nonprofit TV, public service TV group down in LA. That should be, they all start as Undecided, by the way. And they had these great little 1-minute explainer videos that we used.
Prop 55 in 1 minute, taxes for education. 4 years ago, a tax on the wealthy was passed to help fund education. It was
and then I can read the actual language, right? And I can also see groups and organizations that are supporting it, and groups and organizations that are opposing it. And if you remember, I told you on the phone, Ethan Behrman, he's on KGO radio, he's on CNN every once in a while. I really like him, so I want to hear what he has to say, so I can click on it.
Does temporary mean temporary? Well, it doesn't here in California when it comes to money and taxes. We passed Proposition 30 back in 2012, which was tier education system, a state board of education, a county board of education, and a district board of education. All other states have 2, state level, district level. I say absolutely no. By the way, I have kids in public schools in California. I want the best public schools. I still say no on Prop 55.
And then let's say I say, okay, you know what? He's obviously studied. He has a written thing. I can go back later and reference if I have any doubts about it, but I'm going to go no on Proposition 55. And then when I go back to my ballot, you'll see 55 is nice and prominent there that says no. I can also see that there's 13 that are percent of the votes here are supporting it, and 7% are against it. And then these are real percentages. Some of them don't have that because this was the ballot that we used for the National Student Parent Mock Election for California, and we only included a couple of propositions. And then we also set the threshold on, I think, about 1,000 votes or so. So even if some people got on here and were voting on these, they wouldn't display the number until they get to 1,000. So with that, I can then again share with friends, and I can do a bunch of other stuff. The way that trusted sources work is, I'll show you real quickly. So here's a good example. So here is Hillary's profile, right? So I can watch the videos, and I can see text and all that type of stuff. Again, it's up to her to how to build it, and we're adding lots more issue statements down here and doing some other stuff. But I can see the groups and organizations that are endorsing her. So I can click here and see all of them, right? And if I wanted to hear what they have to say, I can click through here, or I can just click through right here and I can hear it.
For the better part of a year, I've been talking about the dangerous and divisive Republican nominee for president. Today, I'm not even going to mention his name.
And then if I'm a union guy and I always vote union, I just say, okay, done, right? That's real easy for me to do. Now, that may not even be a good example because, every person that belongs to a union, knew that the union wanted you to vote for Hillary, right? They make a huge announcement and all that. But, going down ballot, that's a whole different story, right? So for state assembly, you typically don't know, right? So now you can click on the candidate profile, and right here under featured endorsements, you would see that AFL-CIO endorsement. And the way that works is that the groups, the organizations, that what we call trusted sources, I can add them here if I want. Or they can send out invites, and there's a bunch of different stuff there. But this is sort of their page, and this is kind of, again, like a Facebook page or a LinkedIn, company page and all that. But they can make endorsements, and this is how easy it is. So if I'm the AFL-CIO, I make my page for free. I click on endorsements, and then I can click on any of the featured ones. I can see different propositions. But if I wanted to make an endorsement for, say, Gavin Newsom in California 2018, I would choose a state. And then just to let you know, we actually redesigned this whole endorsement thing. So now they're actually just looking at a ballot the same way a voter would look at a ballot. But I'll show you this one anyway. They would go California here, and then he would just start typing in Gavin Newsom. He would see Gavin Newsom. He favorites his star. It says, you want to do written or video? You say yep, and then they can do a written one here, and they can do bold or italics, and they can put in links or images or video. And then they can also do just here, which is the YouTube URL, like the share URL from YouTube. They just do a cut and paste right in there, and then it plays right in Gavin's profile. So as for groups and organizations, especially unions and stuff, they can go up and down the ballot real quickly, make all their endorsements, send it out to all of their users, and say, use this as your new online voting guide. And they can also get a lot of information back. I better change that so that just in case. They can also get a lot of information back from their users. They can even create their own ballots if they want to run their own primaries or run opinion polls or do any of that type of stuff on the back end. So anyway, I think that's it. And again, would love to talk with you again. The expansion plan for Win My Vote is having people that will create ballots or manage ballots or sort of do the sales and marketing for a ballot. So for example, like Cincinnati, Ohio is having an election. So what I would do is I would go in, I would change my zip to a Cincinnati zip code, and then I would fill this stuff in, although so those are direct hits. And again, when someone first signs up and they're direct hits, then they auto-populate. But when you go in and you actually change yours, then you have to do it manually. And again, we're kind of changing that too, to where you're actually just going to pick your city, and then that will be your ballot. And the only reason that we didn't do that in the very beginning was simply because we really wanted to tie everything to a zip code so that you could, kind of have your ballot with your zip code, and there wasn't a bunch of people jumping all over the place. And that had to do with how we launched it in our beta and a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, so you'll put your zip code in there, and then you hit save, and now your ballots will be Cincinnati, Ohio. So they had a mayor's primary that we can look at real quickly with just 3 candidates, and then they have November 7th, which is a mayoral runoff, but also city council. So here, I can go down here, and this was just from another demo, and I can look at the candidates that are running for, city council at large, vote for none. So I can start looking at the candidates that that I'm going to vote for, and then I can go down the ballot. And again, I haven't really built this one out so much. We focused on just 4 or 5 ballots, right now to kind of use as betas and to get out there and get rolling and that type of stuff. But going back to saying somebody, managing or doing the sales and marketing around the ballots, it's sort of like, okay, there's all the candidates, reach out to them, tell them to, sign up, build their own profile, etc. Reach out to, groups and organizations to become trusted sources on this ballot, etc. And then I can talk with you all about how that works, and then run through, the numbers, with you as well, like the business model to say, how this makes sense, how you make money off it, how you get paid, to do it, and those types of things. So anyway, hope that helps a lot, and would be happy to chat again. Essentially going on vacation. We're going to be doing some stuff back and forth, so I'll be available a little bit next week here and there, but not predictable until the following week. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye bye.